let the purge begin. Creepy, right? I got that mask from Mezco. They give me such wonderful toys. So let me start off with basically what the first purge is. They want to explain to you genuinely what the title says. There are people who are like, yeah, man, let's go for this. Let's do it. Don't take our guns away because we have the right to do these crazy things. I'm sorry, I got political, my bad. The first purge actually shows that it's a political experiment that they actually use the rough neighborhoods for. So I'm gonna start you off. Now, they start this film out in Staten Island, New York, the borough that no one thinks about. Like, I mean, it's cool because most people outside of New York go, Staten Island's part of New York, so I feel like this movie's gonna be very educational. And for those who are not from New York City, we have 5 boroughs. Bronx! That's right, the boogie down Bronx, you know, it's like Jada, like that kind of Bronx. Then there's Manhattan. Then there is Queens. That's right, Spider-Man fans, we got Queens for ya. And then we have Brooklyn's in the house. I said Brooklyn's in the house, like, you know. And then there's Staten Island. It's like the other country of New York City. Like, technically it's a part of us. But like, you know, we just visit like for a free ferry ride, you know, like what poor people do, like, oh, this is nice. Like, you know, because we don't really want to pay to go see the Statue of Liberty. We'll just see it from afar, like, oh, that sounds, oh my God, look at it. Let me zoom in. We're mad cheap. Let me stop making fun of Staten Island. Because I interviewed a girl who's out there, and after watching this movie, now I want to know if she's going to make a comic book about these kind of people. Because her comic was based on this. If you're keeping up, you know what comic book I'm talking about. But the whole plot starts off in Staten Island, New York, and I guess it makes sense filming wise because filming movies in New York City is very expensive. I know, because as a background actor, as a stand-in, regardless of anything, they gotta pay me good money if they want my booty to sit there. So I think it's probably cheaper because I know in Manhattan it can get really pricey, which is why I love filming in those areas. I'm like, yeah, Law and Order. But it also makes sense as you're following the plot, because if you're not from New York City, we have these 5 boroughs. Manhattan's an island. Staten Island is an island. Brooklyn and Queens, they're like married, but they're like divorced at the same time. Like they sleep in the same bed, but they don't talk to each other, kind of thing. It's like that kind of marriage. And then the Bronx is like over there, right? So with the Bronx, if you continue to travel north in the Bronx, you'll eventually hit places like New Rochelle, Larchmont, you know, places like that. You can actually walk there. I know, because I cut school one day to walk it. Yes, Mom, deal with it. So, they choose Staten Island, which I thought was interesting because it's probably much more pricier to film in Manhattan. But Staten Island could probably easily be very much cut off, which is why they do the first purge. So what they do is they commence this whole thing where people are cut off. Like the last bus to Brooklyn or something like heads out there, and they, you know, like people are going to go there, then the last ferry leaves or whatever. But they choose a borough that no other New Yorker would probably be in the background going, what up? Because there's a lot of New Yorkers that do that. We can't help ourselves, at least some of us. I can. I can't even begin to tell you how many times when I was working on the Avengers, I was just background on the Avengers, but I was totally nerding out and just happened to be on a Marvel set. I was like, they fed me very well. I love working for Marvel because they feed me very well on the sets. People were walking in the background. They're like, okay, just so you guys know, that part where like the people come down like, killing everyone, people would stop in the street like, I'm gonna take a photo, is that Thor? And they're like, we're supposed to be scared and running for our lives, can you move it along? I guess if you hit out Staten Island, I guess, you know, since no one goes out to that faraway country, I guess it makes sense, you know, why it would be much easier to film there. So they start out there in Staten Island. They open a scene up with this thug, but you don't know he's actually a thug. And they show that predominantly most of the film is focused on creating this experiment, this, you know, social experiment, but they're mostly testing it in like these poor neighborhoods. So a lot of people, like, what they're telling them is that for the poor people who can't afford to leave for that particular night, what they're telling them is, if you survive the night and participate, we'll give you an automatic $5,000 just for staying alive. However, if you decide to kill people and actually participate in the event, what they're gonna do is they're gonna give you more money. So now you're sort of watching this and you're like, okay, where's this all going? You're watching the news going across, how people are gonna handle it, what they think is gonna really happen. They're like, will Staten Islanders stand up and represent for New York City that they're not violent people, or will they participate? There's like a lot of hype around it, right? And you start to kind of piece together like what everyone's roles are, because you can't piece out who's the protagonist and who's the antagonist quite just that quickly, because within the first 5 minutes there's an interview going on with the antagonist, who ends up being I'll get to that, the antagonist in there, his name is Skeletor. Did anyone else catch that? Woo, sorry. Anyway, but that guy was a very cool villain. So he opens up the movie and you understand like, okay, he's looking forward to the Purge, but what about these other people, and he's going to be compensated for this. And one of the things that carries on through the film is that you're actually developing a real relationship with the characters, which I did appreciate a lot. You were ghetto at some point, or you had some ghetto friends, this is the movie for you. Like, I'm gonna tell you right now. So as you're watching the film, right, you start to relate to the characters, because you meet Isaiah, you meet Nia. When you meet her, you see that she's a black girl who's living in the ghetto, who's choosing a better life for herself because she wants to get out of this living system. Her brother is a character who's struggling, seeing that his sister's having trouble paying for the bills. Mom and dad are obviously not around, or they're dead or in jail. Who knows? No one's asking questions, because you understand that the relationship of their life revolves around each other. She's trying to be a good role model, and he sees how much she's doing. He appreciates it that much, but then he makes some very foolish mistakes. So he ends up, what you end up finding out is that he's actually selling drugs on the corner. Now the person he's selling drugs for happens to be her ex-boyfriend, who neither one parties seem to have known that he was selling drugs. So you're watching it, and during this time that he's on the corner, Skeletor. Sorry. I hope I don't look too old. But Skeletor gets upset with him because he wants him to give him free drugs, because he's like, I'll become a permanent customer if I could just try your drugs. And he's like, nah. So what does he do very quickly? Does this typical ghetto thing that most ghetto people know about, the blades underneath the tongue. So he pulls it out, cuts the boy's face. Somebody else stands up for him, like, and the guy runs away. So you already know, like, Skeletor is no joker. He's coming after people, right? As the plot begins to thicken, people are not doing anything. They're not really killing. The only person who's actually killing anyone is Skeletor. He's pretty much the only one who's like, ah! Like running around. That's pretty much just him. They're throwing like block parties. People are having fun. No one's taking it seriously, because they're like, the most that we'll do is probably rob a store. So most of the things that are happening is that stores are being robbed, banks are being robbed, just mostly looting, which is probably, if the Purge ever existed, that's exactly what I would be doing too. I'd rob a bank in a minute, break every ATM machine I could find, like, gonna need this for tomorrow, like, I'm serious. As the night progresses, Naya ends up going to her church. She's sitting down at the church because she thinks this is the safest place to go. She leaves a little early, ends up finding out that her brother is not in Brooklyn, which would be the safe zone. And he's actually out there, and he's actually in trouble because he does try to challenge Skeletor because he had cut him the day before. So, but he doesn't really have the gall to actually kill another human being. So he ends up running. Naya and Isaiah end up finding each other, and they kind of continue like, okay, we gotta get home. They end up picking up friends like most RPGs. You know, the white mage, the black mage. But Demetrius, yo, he carried that film. As their lives are going on, Demetrius, you find out, is actually like this big time drug dealer. He's a gangbanger. And one of the things that him and Naya actually argued about was the fact that she felt like, because of the things that they had experienced, he could do better things with his life, do things for the community. He learns this lesson through progress of what she was just telling him and what they've always fought about because of this one night. Now, he's not thrilled about the Purge because he doesn't know if that means he's going to lose people in his business. He doesn't know if he's going to lose customers. He doesn't know what this is, and he doesn't like the idea of it because he's going to lose some money. So as the night is making progress, he's out there, you know, doing his regular thing, trying to make his transportation just quite fine, and only to be encountering a lot of white supremacists. Now, this is where it gets interesting. So they took a lot of white supremacists and had them attacking a lot of the poor neighborhoods, killing people, because as the plot begins to thicken, you find out that apparently nobody was really participating. Everyone was getting drunk and maybe looting a couple of places, but that's it. Nobody was actually killing people. So this guy, as a backup plan, ends up basically hiring mercenaries out of nowhere to kill the people because nobody was participating, to make it seem like people are participating, because he actually works for the NFFA. It's a strange little acronym, but whatever. He does this because they can't afford to support people anymore and to get them off these programs. The best way to handle them is to let everyone kill each other. So this is the legal way of being able to kill people and work on the population. Now, his partner didn't really think people were actually going to participate. So because most of the night is quiet and suddenly there's like a spike in violence out of nowhere, it didn't make sense to her, and she's a scientist. She ends up like snooping around, ends up finding out that this is what he's doing. He actually hired mercenaries, military people, soldiers to actually kill people. And when there weren't enough deaths, they actually head into the projects. So this is where the lives begin to cross over. Because Demetrius, yo, that's my boo. Like, me and him together for life. He's rescuing people. He's actually using his gangbangers as a mafia, as an organized crime, as mafia, like organized crime, to actually protect the neighborhood. And some people are gonna be like, what do you mean by that? Now here's the thing. In many governments, when the government becomes too corrupt, the reason why mafias have ever even existed, whether you're talking about a Vietnamese mafia gang, the Italian mafia gang, the Yakuza, whoever you're talking about, all of these organized crimes were created because the government was too corrupt at one point, and someone started to stand up and protect the people to do the dirty work. That's really where, if you do your research, that's where a lot of this stuff starts to come in. So it's rather interesting to sort of see that play out, that this purge is really a corrupt concept of saving money to have people murdered and slaughtered in one particular island by mercenaries that no one could really stand up against unless you trained for that kind of thing. So as this is happening, Demetrius is using his gang as a big advantage to actually take out these mercenaries, fight back. He's going over, getting his weapons, getting his crew together. And then by the end of it, it really is just him by himself. He has to go back and save Naya at some point because there's not enough death. Apparently the government was not happy enough. So they were like, oh my god, we gotta kill some more people. So they sent soldiers into the projects, and floor by floor were kicking down doors and gunning people down. Now as a poor person, as you're sitting there watching it, you're just sitting there like, yo, the government would do some stuff like this. Like, I won't lie, you be sitting there like walking out the theater like eyeballing people like. They used a lot of current and past political point of views to like speak out on a lot of things very thinly. And I don't want to push those concepts because I'd rather someone watch it and then tell me and leave in the comment section what they really got from the film. This way we can actually discuss it as two adults and not two people shoving their ideas into each other's throats. He ends up being the sole ranger, but at this point he's already gone from the bad guy thug, like, oh, he's a drug dealer, he's this, he's that. You actually watch the concept of the purge give birth to a new hero, which I thought was rather very interesting, because as he's going there, you see that he's trying to protect his neighborhood. He goes back to different corners, trying to give back and do this. He's trying to protect people, but then the last place he hears, because he starts to piece together as he's protecting people, he's taking out some of these mercenaries because his thugs are trained for this sort of thing. They have the weapon, they have the gear to protect themselves as well as the people. So as they're doing this, they come across the walkie-talkies and they're hearing what's going on. Okay, we're heading over here, we're heading over there, blah, 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 blah. So he's actually kind of following behind them to keep track of what's going on, because he can't figure out where these supposed white supremacists came from, which is a very interesting concept for them to put that into the film. You see how much he truly actually loves this girl. He actually loves her, he just doesn't want to leave the lifestyle. As he makes his journey, you can see that he's sort of leaving that lifestyle behind him because he kind of has no choice with his members getting killed off and him deciding to actually come back and save their neighborhood as an organized crime, instead of actually just sort of using it as a night to pillage. Let me tell you, homeboy looked like Bruce Willis in all of his diehards. No joke. Like, I have never heard a crowd go from going, oh, he's a bad guy, to going, Like people were screaming, like everyone really loves this dude. So I'm gonna tell you right now who your favorite character is gonna be. It's gonna be him. You're gonna hate him at first, like, yo, this psh. But then at the end, you're gonna be like, what? Oh my god, I love him. Like, I'm telling you that right now. So he actually goes in there military style, taking people out one by one. And I love the fight choreography between him and the other characters, because you can tell like he was not letting it go. That's my girl. I will do anything to defend her. I will do anything to protect her. No one is going to harm her. So it's like a whole other level of love that I could never possibly comprehend. It's a whole other love that like puts you like, oh, it's, oh my god, it's so romantic. Keep blowing up people for her. Like, let me stop. But you see the determination in his face. He's determined, you know, to help the neighborhood. And one of the fight scenes that I loved is like one of the military men happens to open up like a stairwell, and he's right there, and there's two of them, and it's a realistic fight. When you have two people, one in front, one behind you, and you have to move quickly, yeah, you're gonna get your ass hit a couple of times, but it wasn't like he was this perfect was that too much Bruce Lee? He wasn't, you know, he wasn't perfect. It was a realistic fight where if one guy got knocked down, he, without even thinking, he kicks the other guy down the stairs, so he just has one less dude to take care of. Him and the other guy, they fall down the stairs, and when he finally kills one, the other guy, he ends up throwing him down the stairs, and without skipping a beat, and I'm not kidding, everyone in the theater, including myself, was like sitting there screaming. We were enjoying it. He runs down the stairs, leaps on top of the guy because he's not letting go. He needs to get to that top floor to get to her. He finally reaches her, but in the meantime of this, he ends up pissing off the lead guy who's like running everything, because there's one particular wacko. It's rather strange how they did his hair. I'm not gonna say nothing else past that. How they did his hair and what he chose to wear, because he had latex clothes over his pretty suit. He gets pissed off because he realizes there's one particular dude out there who's killing out his mercenaries, and he's like, hold on, no, we do the killing, what is this? It was interesting, like, following what his path was becoming. Of course, at the end, I'm just gonna assume Nia and him got back together, because I mean, I would let one of my exes do some crap like that. I'd be like, boo, boo, boo. But none of them would have the balls, so I'd probably be saving them. But anyway, they also mentioned the fact that regardless of the first Purge, that there's a science behind the fact that even though people were legally allowed to commit any crime that they wanted without being persecuted, that they chose to wear a mask over their face. And that was one of the things that they mentioned. They're trying to figure out, like, are people ashamed of what they're doing, or is it to hide their identity so no one knows exactly what they did? They had a lot of moments of humor. As I said, like, they sprinkled a lot of like random little stuff, so depending on who you are and what your background is, I think they had a little niche for a little bit of something for everyone. Powerful underneath it all. I'm so glad that Mezco Toys took me out to go see that film. Thank you so much, Mike. That film was like, whoa, like, this is really interesting, and I'm really glad that I took the time to actually go see the film, just because I'm running to so many conventions, I never get the chance to like truly like enjoy anything, you know, like breathing. I do think this psychological aspect of the film is very well executed, and it's a lot of fun. I'm not just saying this because, oh, Mezco took me to a date night, whatever, and it was great, because it was a great movie. Because if I thought the movie sucked, trust me, I tell you, I'd be like, don't do it. Purge the movie. But that's not the case. This movie is a lot of fun. One of the things that I can tell you is that because of these mercenaries that are kind of coming all over the place, he ends up telling the president, oh my god, who knew the experiment was a success? You know, I think we should bring this nationally. And that's kind of where the explanation comes in, where he was that corrupt to kill down the population and make sure that that company doesn't have to spit out any more money, that hired mercenaries to kill civilians so people would actually participate in this purge. It's another concept to, I guess, the way how people are looking at the news nowadays. Regardless of whatever your political opinion is, some people might be like, will they actually do something like this now? I hope not. But it's intense, and it leaves an impression on your mind. So I'm gonna have to say this is one of my favorite movies, and out of all of them, I really do like the first Purge. And I do think they explain the beginning And then with the last one, with the Purge ending, I think it's a nice way to tie it up, and then the two in between are just kind of like fun movies to see. If you're out there on July 4th, like, what should we see? What would be super American? The first Purge would be super American to go see. This is your first movie spoiler, and I hope you guys enjoy it, and I hope you guys run out there to go see the movie. Also, quick announcement! This wacky inflatable, let me stop with the Family Guy. I've been doing that all day today for some stupid reason. I have a contest, and if you have not gone to my homepage of my YouTube channel, let me stop. You're gonna find Clip Kick. Now let me quickly explain what Clip Kick is. Because the first Purge is my favorite movie. Let's say if it was on YouTube or it was on some random website, and I was like, oh, boo, I can't wait to watch this inside of Clip Kick. All I need is the online link. When I say online link, I mean from YouTube, it could be from Musical.ly, it could be from Instagram TV, it could be from some random website, Facebook, whatever the link is. The video itself is saved into one application. Now, yeah, we have other places like Google Keep, whatever the case may be, but with Clip Kick, it's specifically for your videos, and you can share a playlist. You can share your favorite videos to all of your friends. So I will be putting the links down in the descriptions to download it. This is a free app. The app is free. It costs you nothing to support Bit and Apple TV. Nothing at all. So all you have to do, download the app with the link that I give you, and then make sure that you post our Clip Kick commercial from our homepage into the link. The reason why you're going to do this is because you're entering a major contest where the winners will be picked in September 1st by Clip Kick. I'm not picking the winners. Clip Kick is picking the winners based on the people who download the app and put their information in. Now, here are your following prizes. Bam! 2 tickets to see Aladdin. You get 2 tickets. That's right, 2 more tickets to go to Ripley's Believe It or Not in Times Square. Did I mention Mezco Toys is going to be a part of this too? I have a collectible, a limited edition collectible Batman. That's right. Batman. That goes along with the package. You also get Bit and Apple TV swag. And if you want, and for those who are fans, especially the ones who are on my Musical.ly page, if you want to come meet me and you're here out there in New York City, I will come out and meet you to go send you off to go watch Aladdin, because you ain't never had a friend like me. Oh my. Oh no. Too much? Okay. But but can your friends do this? I'm sorry. Make sure you enter the contest. Make sure you download the app through the link down there and use the app. It's really useful. I'm not just saying that because they sponsored me. I'm saying it because it's actually useful. I can't even begin to tell you how many conversations that you and I have probably both had with our friends going, hey, that video, did you see the one with the cat? No? Now hold on, let me find it. I think it was on YouTube. Hold on. Like Clip Kick would make it that much easier for you. Like I know someone who was looking for an episode of Banshee, couldn't find what he was looking for, then turned around and tried to find later on a video of Reno that he wanted to show us, a very specific one that was not censored, couldn't find the video to save his life. If he had Clip Kick, he'd be able to find it and then share it with everyone. Like that! Please support Bit and Apple TV. Download the app. Just to show some support. It really, really does help out our channel. It helps us do exactly everything that we love to do. So when you love watching my show, you want to watch more Written Writ, which by the way, you owe me an episode. Oh, I'm sorry, like 5. What was that? I'm sorry, was that a bossy rant? I'm sorry. Make sure you stay tuned. Click that button down there to subscribe. Next Mezco date, I don't know when that'll be, but yeah, I'll have another spoiler review for you. Go out and watch the first Purge. Your country depends on you for it.